Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking all about emergency funds.
Ooh, yes.
That financial safety net that can really help you feel secure when life throws you those inevitable curveballs.
Absolutely, those unexpected things.
And we got so many great questions from all of you about emergency funds.
Yeah.
Really wanting to understand, how do they work? How do you build one? So we are here to break it all down.
Let's do it.
Give you a crash course in building financial security.
Love it.
We're going to uncover why it's so important in the first place.
Right.
And break it down step by step, how you can actually build one for yourself.
Yes.
And tackle some of those pesky myths that might be holding you back.
Absolutely. There's a lot of those out there.
There are, yeah.
You know, one of the most fascinating things to me about emergency funds is that they're not just about the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about dollars and cents.
Right.
It's about that feeling you get.
Exactly.
That peace of mind.
Oh, yeah.
That,
That sigh of relief, okay,
yes, I
got
guess.
this. I'm covered.
Exactly.
No matter what comes my way.
Exactly. It's amazing how many people don't have that.
Right.
The Federal Reserve found that almost 40% of Americans would actually struggle to cover a $400 unexpected expense.
40%.
I know. That's wild.
It's a huge number.
It is. And think about it.
Yeah.
That's not a crazy amount of money.
Right.
$400. What if your car breaks down?
Yeah. Even a minor car repair these days.
Exactly.
Or what if your pet needs to go to the vet?
Oh, or a medical bill.
Oh, don't even get me started on medical bills.
Right. And the thing is, it's not just the practical side of it.
Yeah.
Yes, being able to pay those bills. But research shows that people with emergency funds are actually less stressed.
Really?
Yes. There are lower levels of anxiety.
That makes sense.
Right. If you know you have that buffer,
Yeah.
that cushion to fall back on, you're going to sleep better at night. There was even a study from the University of Wisconsin
Oh, wow.
that found a direct link between savings and improved mental well-being.
Interesting.
It is. I think it's so important to think about that.
Yeah. It's, like you said, it's not just the financial piece.
Right.
It really impacts your mental and emotional well-being as well.
Absolutely.
To just know that you got that cushion,
Exactly. And that you can take risks,
Yeah.
pursue your passions without constantly worrying about financial disaster.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right.
But what happens if you don't have that cushion?
Ooh, that's when things can get tricky.
Yeah.
Without an emergency fund, a lot of people turn to things like credit cards
Oh, yeah.
or even payday loans
Oh, yeah.
when those unexpected costs pop up. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB for short,
Right.
they found that almost 60% of people who don't have savings end up resorting to those options.
Yeah, and those are not ideal.
No,
Let's just say.
ideal.
Because of those high interest rates.
Exactly. And that can so quickly lead to a cycle of debt.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know it's important and potentially even scary if we don't have one.
Right.
How do we actually go about building an emergency fund?
The first step is figuring out your savings target.
Okay.
How much should you actually be aiming for?
Right.
And a good general rule of thumb is to have about 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved.
Okay, so that could feel like a lot, especially
Yeah.
when you're just getting started.
It can,
Oh, yeah.
but remember, you don't have to do it all at once.
Okay, that's good.
Even starting small,
Yeah.
like $500 or $1,000, that is a huge step in the right direction.
It's progress.
It is progress.
Yeah.
And if your income is less predictable,
Right.
if you freelance or you have a variable income, you might want to aim for a bit more, maybe even 6 to 12 months of expenses.
Right, so it's really about tailoring it
Yeah,
to your own personal situation
exactly.
and needs. Yeah, and there are so many great tools these days that can make saving easier.
Yes.
I personally love using those automatic transfer apps
Oh, those are so great.
like Chime or Digit.
Mm-hmm.
You can just set it and forget it.
Exactly.
Have $25 a week or whatever you decide
Yeah.
tucked away, you don't even notice it.
You don't even miss it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love it.
But even with those automatic transfers,
Right.
you need to make sure that you actually have the money
Yes.
to put into savings in the first place.
That's true. We have to free up some cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So taking a look at your monthly expenses, actually sitting down and reviewing where your money is going
Yeah.
can be super revealing.
Oh, yeah.
Are there areas where you can maybe cut back,
Right.
even temporarily?
Even just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm always surprised when I look at like, oh, I'm spending how much on like,
Takeout.
takeout. Yes,
Yeah.
or those subscription services I never actually use.
Oh, subscriptions are the worst.
Ugh, they get me every time.
Right.
But it's all about, like you said, being mindful, not depriving yourself,
No, not at all.
but just being a little bit strategic.
Yeah.
Right.
And finding those little areas where you can free up some extra cash.
Yeah, maybe swap out those fancy coffees for a homemade brew a few times a week.
Exactly.
Little things like that.
Yeah. It all adds up.
It does.
It really does.
Okay, so we free up the cash.
Okay.
Then what?
Then consistency is key.
Okay, consistency.
So, once you have some money that you've freed up,
Right.
open a dedicated high-yield savings account.
Okay, high yield.
Yes. So it's specifically for your emergency fund, and that interest is going to be your friend. Okay, so it's like giving your savings a little boost.
It is, exactly.
Okay.
And make sure you are making regular contributions.
Regular.
Okay, yes, even if they're small,
Okay.
it's all about building those habits.
Yeah, getting into that routine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about why it's important,
Yes.
how to get started building one, but what happens when life inevitably happens?
Yes.
And you actually need to dip into that emergency fund.
Well, that's what it's there for.
Right.
That's exactly what it's there for.
Okay.
So don't hesitate to use it when a true emergency arises.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. But here's the key. Once you use it,
Okay.
you got to prioritize replenishing it.
Oh, okay, so it's not a one-time thing.
No.
Got it.
It's about maintaining that safety net.
Right, so it's a constant process.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like we know now why it's important. We have the steps on how to actually build one.
Yes.
But I feel like there are so many myths and excuses out there.
Oh, there are so many. When it comes to emergency funds,
Yeah.
What are some of the most common ones that you've heard?
One of the biggest ones I hear all the time
Yeah.
is this idea of, I'll just use my credit card if something happens.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be my emergency fund.
I've got a credit card with a high limit.
Exactly. But the problem is that can really backfire.
Absolutely.
Because those high interest rates,
Yeah.
they can quickly turn what seems like a small problem into a mountain of debt.
Oh, yeah. It can snowball so fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
And, even more concerning, studies show that there's a strong connection.
Really?
Yes, between debt and stress.
That makes sense.
Right. Like the American Psychological Association actually found that people who have high levels of debt,
Oh, yeah.
they're way more likely to experience anxiety, depression, even physical health problems.
Oh, wow.
It's wild.
So it's not just financial. It's like
No, it's a whole body thing.
mind, body, everything. Everything. Yeah.
Wow, that's really important to consider.
It is.
Okay, so what's another myth?
Another one I hear a lot is, I have a stable income, so I don't need an emergency fund.
Okay, the illusion of stability.
Exactly.
Right.
Because,
It can feel that way.
it can, but...
If you're like, oh, I have a steady paycheck.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But even with the most secure job in the world,
Right.
unexpected things happen.
They do.
Company layoffs,
Oh, yeah.
sudden illness,
Yeah.
family emergencies. These things don't discriminate. It can happen to anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so...
Okay, and what about that last myth?
Oh, the classic.
The classic.
The I'll start saving when I get a raise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've definitely used that one myself.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right.
But it's the procrastination trap.
It is. It is.
Because waiting for that perfect moment,
Right.
the perfect time to start saving,
Yeah.
is the best way to make sure you never actually start.
Oh, absolutely. The truth is, starting now,
Right.
even if it's just a tiny amount, that's what really matters.
Yeah.
It's about building the habit and the momentum.
Yeah, and it's like that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Right.
The second best time is today.
Exactly.
Perfect.
This is so true.
Okay, so we know it's important. We know how to start building one.
Yes.
We've busted some myths.
We did it.
But where does an emergency fund fit in?
Oh, that's a great question.
Our overall financial plan.
Yeah.
How do we think about it in relation to, like, investing?
It's so important to remember that your emergency fund is separate
Okay, separate.
from your investments.
Okay.
Your emergency fund is about liquidity.
Okay, liquidity.
So that means being able to access your cash quickly
Quickly, got it.
when you need it.
Okay.
And that's why a high-yield savings account or a money market account
Okay.
are really ideal.
Mm-hmm.
These are FDIC-insured accounts.
Right.
So your money is safe and it's easily accessible.
Okay, so we're not talking about investing this money.
Exactly.
Right.
And while these accounts offer stability,
Right.
they usually have a little bit lower return
Okay.
compared to investments.
Makes sense.
But that's okay, because remember,
Okay.
the purpose of your emergency fund is not to make you rich.
Sure.
It's to provide that safety net.
Exactly. It's a different purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So investments, that's for long-term growth.
Okay.
You know, things like retirement planning
Mhm.
or saving for a down payment on a house.
Okay, so emergency fund is for that short-term peace of mind.
Right.
Investments for those long-term goals.
Exactly.
Got it.
So important to have the right tool for the job.
Right tool for the job.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap everything up,
Yes.
emergency funds are so crucial for our overall financial well-being.
Absolutely.
They give us that sense of security,
Mm-hmm.
help us reduce stress,
Yes.
avoid those debt traps. And it's really like the foundation of a healthy financial life.
It is. It's the bedrock.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, I think this has been a really helpful deep dive.
Yes.
But I want to leave our listeners with something to really ponder.
Oh, I love it.
So imagine
Okay.
that right now you had to cover an unexpected $1,000 expense.
Oh, okay. Everyone think about this.
Yeah. How would you feel?
Yeah.
Would you feel stressed?
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel confident?
Right.
Like, what steps can you start taking today
Yeah.
to build that sense of security
Mm-hmm.
and start working towards that emergency fund?
Such a powerful question.
Yeah. So it's all about taking action,
It is.
even if it's small steps.
Yeah. Any step is a step in the right direction.
Exactly. And remember, you've got this.
You do.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Hey, bye.
Bye.